What was... Yeah, Berserker more popular than Ranger this month. Reaper, nobody wanting to play. Reaper's usually the least popular class, but this is especially sad. Ugh. I don't think it gets better if you narrow it down to just Master. Does it get better if you broaden it? No, just nobody wants to play Reaper. Can't really say I blame them. Ranger's got a few different things it can do. Berserker's got a bunch of different things it can do. Reaper's got a bunch of things that you can aspire to. Are the Grandma stats real? Not really. I know when Time for Miracle was looking at them a couple weeks ago, it was mostly cheated boards. Like, obviously cheated boards, like turn 3 Rainbow Goob. And the sample sizes are tiny if you narrow it down that far. You have like one game every hour. Ranger subclasses, mix of Lifebinder, Grovekeeper, and Pathfinder. Pathfinder. This one's Pathfinder? Every week I've been surprised to see Pathfinder so small. Pathfinder feels significantly better to me than Grovekeeper. Lifebinder I get. There's a lot of people forcing the torch start. So much Grovekeeper. Yeah, apparently. I don't know. Grovekeeper is something that I only really go for if I make it through the early game with 4 or 5 lives. It's pretty good there. You barely see it? I see it a good amount. The ratio does seem a little weird. I would have thought that it was a little more Lifebinder, with Pathfinder more tied with Grovekeeper. Like 40, 20, 20, and then 10 split between the other two. That's not how math works. 40, 25, 25, 10 split between the other two. But not that far off. Other than there being way fewer Pathfinders. Reaper is still all Hexblade. Surprise, surprise. More people trying to play Witch. Or Alchemist. And Witch. Not so much Vamp. We can fast weak this, right? Oh yeah, these numbers look way nicer. Much more smooth charts. It's been pretty constant. There's like no metagame development. Also cool how you see the same patterns every day. Like certain time slots prefer different subclasses. And it shows on the chart. Like this is especially periodic. It's like more Grovekeepers at 4 o'clock. Unhealing Cauldron is playable. I'd believe it. I played it a couple times. I had it come together once, and I had it not come together once, and I just didn't go for it again. What do we got here? There's some development here. I know at the start of the patch... Yeah, start of the patch, Shaman was on top. Then Chieftain's been gaining... it's about tied. It's crazy to me that this is close. Chieftain's so good. It does everything. Gives you DR, gives you mana. You only see Chieftain? There's... I see some weird boards with Shaman. Yeah, I see a lot of people going for the Magic Torch Mana Thirst board with Shaman instead of Chieftain. I'm not sure what the reasoning behind that is, but... Chieftain's just so good at keeping you alive. And when you're playing comps that are scaling, like most Berserker comps, whether that's Magic Staff or Mana Torch, you really just want to stay alive to get your scaling off. Yikes. What? Wait. Why is the gulf widening? God, Pyro subclasses suck. It got nerfed last week, right? Not by a lot, but... Yeah, Burning Banner got nerfed by 0.2 seconds. Dark Lantern and Frozen Flame both got buffed. And Crusader improves its metagame share. Crusader's definitely getting nerfed, or others. Yeah. I kind of want to see other Pyromancer subclasses get buffed. I feel like they all feel so set. Like, even Crusader doesn't feel great unless you're in a comp that cares about regen. It's good, but I feel like every time I've taken Firebender, I've been, like, regretting it. Master Agent Seaman is forcing Bloodthorn. Yeah, that would be a situation where Crusader's great. What else wants it? I was playing it with the Rapier comps last week. But after the Rapier nerfs, that felt pretty awful to play. Yeah, I'm pretty sure every time I was playing Pyro a couple days ago, when we got around the subclassing, there was just never a subclass I wanted to pick. So did you get any fast build, like Eggs or Whip? I didn't like Crusader Whip. You would think it's fine, but Whip's problem is it needs something to close out fights rather than make them longer. The only Whip comp that I was having any success with was Cryo. Crusader Whip was cool when you could build the Whip comp as full fatigue, but I don't think you can do that anymore. Sun Armor has been nerfed a little too much. It is good with eggs, though. It's definitely good with eggs. I think that has more to do with the other subclasses not being exciting than Crusader being exciting for eggs. This week? This one doesn't have the 2 weeks. Oh, yeah, it also doesn't show it. Can't follow the trends. How did Rapier do this week? Yeah, this is a lot worse than it was. It's, like, solid if you get it early, but you would hope that a Godly that you're getting on turn 8 is really good. Falls off kind of hard. It's, like, not even that positive on turn 11. I don't think I've had any boards with Rapier this week where I was happy with it. When I got Rapier on turn 4, yeah, that was a silly game. That was also a present game, right? That was a really silly game. I mean, it's a little better than I was expecting Dark Saber to look. That's still what, like 70-30? It's like never much better than 70-30. Can only give T5. What? No, we customer carded into a turn 4 Rapier, and then we got a present a couple turns later. Darksaber Rose can beat Bloodthorn. I guess that's a good matchup. It's just so bad in that everything people are doing on the other classes. Like, I don't want to be Darksaber into other Reapers. I don't want to be Darksaber into Rangers with Magic Torch. I don't want to be Darksaber into Berserkers with Magic Torch. I want to be Darksaber into exactly Berserkers doing Double Axe or Chain Whip stuff. Bloodthorns. And that's it? Yeah, I don't know. My experience with Darksaber was usually You lose 2 fights early-ish as Reaper. You lose your combined turn. And then you lose like 2 or 3 fights to accuracy weapons. And you die. I only went Saber like 3 or 4 times this patch, but that was every single time. Sometimes you got through with 1 life, but it never felt good. I mean, there's so many things that hard counter other things. Like, 200% accuracy weapon sucks, but like it also sucks queuing into Dark Saber when you don't have luck generation. Like, kill it in 5 seconds or never attack again. It's also not very fun. What's red and green? So this is the number of times, for instance, on round 10 that it wins versus loses. Green is wins, red is losses. And then you have the total sample size here. Dark Saber's fine and Ivy. Probably? I don't know, I never see Ivy with Saber. I'm usually not going for it either. But maybe Dark Saber's just a weapon you have to go for. Like, Thorn Whip kind of sucks. Rapier's a lot worse now. At least Saber does damage. That's a lot of ranked Rainbow Goobs. 30 of them have been made. They almost always win. And that's just one type of Rainbow Goob. Yeah. Deck has felt like the stronger thing to be doing on Reaper. Whether that be Deck Hammer Dagger, or Deck Hammer Dagger, or Deck Hammer Dagger. Before 12 is most likely cheating. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, this is obviously cheated, but... yeah. I was only really looking at the tail end here anyway. But that's what, like half of these were cheated, probably. I don't know, I could see... I don't know. I don't know how you make a Rainbow Goob at all in Ranked, but... Present give it? Yes, but you need to have, what, like 35 gold? That's probably the main way you get it legitimately on Ranked. But even that wouldn't be until like turn 14 or 15. But yeah, this curve is kind of crazy for a rare, right? Deck of Cards never has a negative round. It finally happened. Cards have finally been buffed enough to where they're good. But yeah, haven't been big on Bloodthorn Reaper with cards, but White Dragon, Curse Dagger stuff seems really nice. Gives you defenses, gives you time to ramp up the statuses on the opponent with the armor, and then gives you that crit chance. Yeah. Dragon's got a nice win rate. Even Lizard's got an okay win rate. Lotus is looking good too. These are all going to be pretty correlated, right? Like, a lot of boards that have a White Eyes are just naturally going to also have a Lizard. Lotus, the least common one to buy. If you have a Lotus, you probably have these already. Fucking Mega Clover memes. This is so absurd. I don't know how you could look at charts like this and think Mega Clover is a cool design. It's especially bad because of how you have to commit to it, too. Like, you're usually not making this until around 6 or 7, so, like, This looks great, but the hero longsword line's only winning you a fight or two. Clover has a similar drop to Cryo. Is it that extreme, though? I don't think it's that extreme. Or what is it called? Frozen Flame. Maybe it is. To be fair, I am also a Frozen Flame hater. But good lord. Also, that regular ranger is weak to banner. Sure. Wish Cryo was better designed. Frost builds are cool. You are 100% at the shop's mercy with Cryo. It's really bad design. Yeah, It's a weird one to design, though. Like, I don't know how you design a Cryo subclass that doesn't feel either useless or feel like Exodia going late. Because if this does have a better spike early on, without also addressing the fact that putting 60 chill on an opponent is unbeatable, like, that's not any better. I should say, that is much worse for the game. Need to buy items before 8 that can generate some sort of cold. I saw one suggestion that I kind of liked. That was there are items that you buy early that Frozen Flame directly upgrades. Like, if instead of needing Frost Scroll to turn Hungry Blade into the Frost Blade, it's just you put Hungry Blade next to the Frozen Flame. More inherent value from Frozen Flame. Well, that's what we had before. The initial thing that got Frozen Flame nerfed was the best way to build Frozen Flame was to ignore most of the Frost items and just trigger Heat Cube a bunch. And then you used your Heat to generate Chill. And Frozen Flame was good from, like, turn 9 on. As soon as you found a Frozen Flame weapon, you were popping off. But it's just, like... I don't know. There's just so many issues. Because you're already the class that takes actions faster than everybody else. And then if you have a subclass that also makes the opponent slower. And it's good. It just, just seems like a recipe for a disaster if it's good. Because, like, when Frozen Flame is good, what does that look like? It's putting a bunch of chill on you faster than it already is early on. The counterplay to Frost is pretty narrow. You can play Poison, which doesn't care about it. You can make the boots on Berserker. You can play Poison Ivy for flat debuff resist. But Chill is just such a naturally good defensive layer. Into so many different things. Yeah, the Godly Pot. That's fair. The Heat and Chill cancel each other out. Basically, yeah. Boots at 20% res don't counter now. I mean, the first pair maybe doesn't, but I don't know. If you make 2 of them, you're probably not losing to getting chilled until way late, like multiple books late. You have inflict flat cold, would make it better early. Some nerf to frostbite crit scaling. I don't even think frostbite's that good. All the best Frozen Flame builds that I've seen have been Flame Whip this week. I mean, 40% would delay the inevitable? Well, but that's the goal. Like, you just have to delay it. And then you kill them before they put enough chill on you. Like, you can say the same thing about, like, poison gems and the poison comps. Like, you're delaying your death, but that's all you need to do. Every fight is a race. Badger Rune has a good curve. Yeah. Pretty sure, yeah, all the runes early have a pretty nice looking curve. What is Shaman Mask overall? Pretty solid. Like, I think Shaman Mask is a good example of the subclasses that add items to your shop. It does something when you pick it up. There's ways to build around it earlier by picking up Box of Riches or coals. And the items that it's putting in your shop aren't something that you just want to doom roll towards. Like, most of the power in Shaman Mask isn't from the items that it adds to the shop, and I think that's good. Or I think all of the other subclasses have most of their power in the items they add to the shop. Which just leads to some really unfun play patterns around them. And in the case of stuff like Frozen Flame, I think, like, a pretty serious design constraint. Like, how do you make this strong without it being too strong? But, I mean, I guess Mega Clover has a big pick rate. People willingly sign themselves up for this curve. Why, I will never know, but they do. Mana... Magic Torch. That's about right. Item's pretty good. Look at Gingerbread Jerry. Look at him go. 35th time by round 15. I like how this indicates that nobody takes Mega Clover on 1 life. Like, at least there's that. Though, it is crazy to me that there are people willing to take it on 2 lives. Oh, wait, you never have 1 life on 8. Wait. Never mind. People are just maniacs. There's a fair bit of experimentation in Shaman Mask with putting runes not in Double Axe/Busted Blade. Yeah, I mean, you see the runes in armor a bunch. Or it just means stuff like Bloodthorn Shaman Mask. Definitely lost because the opponent was minus 21 flat damage. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The problem with the minus flat damage one is usually you're gonna have multiple armors. I guess make sure the minus flat damage one, it usually just feels redundant, and I'd rather have better damage scaling than more survivability. But I think he also had one in his weapon. He just, like, found 5 Badger runes. There were 3 in armor, 1 in bag, 1 in weapon. Buying Clover is almost less maniacal than rolling 20 times before 8 to force HLS. What if I told you that these were the same people? I promise you, this drop-off is not because they are taking non-Mega Clover subclasses. Check Cauldron. Womp womp. Not terrible. It's worse than Snake. It's probably much worse than Curse Dagger. Yeah. Curse Dagger actually kind of solid. It's about as good as Mr. Struggles. Yeah, Lifter, good immediately, but falls off hard. That's been my experience. Leaf, okay. Bit lower than it was before all the nerfs. Piercing Arrow, much better than it was before. Which isn't saying much, but it was real bad before. It was like this before. Deerwood. Yeah. Feel a little vindicated about this. Deerwood is absurd. It just, like, doesn't fall off either. It's just always good. Balance patch not needed. I couldn't believe they buffed Deerwood Guardian. I wonder when they'll finally do something about Busted Blade. Yeah, I mean, on one hand, it's a late game combine item, so, like, probably should have a good win rate, but yeah, it might be a little much. Damage reduction is additive. Correct. Changing that to multiplicative may help a lot. Also correct. Additive DR is a mechanic most games avoid for a reason. Never played Tierwood because the stars are so annoying. Look, I agree, but it's also just so good. Well, actually buying puppies results in positive win rates. Yeah. Puppies are great when you get your critical mass of puppies. The problem with puppies... Wait, what is it called? The problem with puppies is this. It's not quite a Mega Clover drop-off, but it's pretty bad until you get the puppies. And you do have to roll for the puppies. Molten Spear. Just nonsense. Complete, utter nonsense. Though, to be fair, I think, like, Claws of Attack is also complete nonsense. Yeah. So if you want the nonsense on non-Pyro classes, there is some available. I think, like, even Bag of Rocks is pretty good. Not as crazy. But, I mean, you just have to buy the Bag of Rocks, and the whole package basically costs you 1 gold. Much less committal. Yeah, that's true. Claws is definitely the worst one to build. You usually lose a life on the combined turn. It's crazy just how well Hungry Blade and Thorn Whip are identical to one another every week. I think I commented on this last time too. Just they are in lockstep with each other. More people keeping a Thorn Whip around because of the Ivy comps, I guess, but even just like as a percentage. How does Mana Thirst compare? It's fine. Mana Thirst is going to be a little weird because you're not looking at Mana Thirst in a vacuum. This is usually being made with some other synergy. Mana Thirst is not usually the first thing you're making. Missed the times when the 4 Hungry Blade board was a thing. Yeah, the comp was cool. But like this is going to be really heavily correlated with just like Magic Torch. Because it's usually you make a Magic Torch and then you make the Mana Thirst. I don't know if I've run into a single Holy Spear this week. Platinum customer cards. That's a new set. Yeah, it's been around for about a month. Does Plat card have a win rate? That's a good question. I know for a while a bunch of the Platinum customer card runs were cheated, but it's got a high sample size here. I don't know. Stone armor. It's okay. The problem with items like stone armor is this doesn't tell you that much. Because, like, what build is playing stone armor? It would need to be... This is where, like, conditional checks would be cool. If you could search, like, stone armor plus magic torch to see how well that performs in that comp versus stone armor in, like, poison ivy. Stone armor with magic staff, yeah. You can check on the various classes. So there's, what, like 7,000 stone armor games? You can just look at Reaper. Win rate's about the same. It's a third of the game stone armor's made is on Reaper. Yeah, you can only do it by class. You can't check, like, wooden sword plus bow. Magic staff. Yeah, that's about right. Like stone armor wouldn't be good, even no downside on stam. Vamp armor just better. Maybe. I don't make it very much. I think it plays better with stone skin potions than vamp armor does. Like you don't want to convert more of your life into armor. But like I also don't find myself making stone armor in those comps. It's the graph for vamp armor. It's okay. But it's just again one of those items that like vamp armor alone doesn't tell you that much. Like if you're playing it with bad builds, is there a comp that's using it? Both are usually not worth it. I'd agree with that. I'm surprised Valor's win rate's this low this week. I'm not sure what it was last week, to be fair. But I feel like Valor is better now than it was. It's pretty good into the Mana Thirst Magic Torch comps. There's fewer Mega Clover Rangers with a bunch of bows. Even the Rangers tend to be playing more melee weapons. A lot of Magic Torch stuff going on. NPs of Ivy. It can be. I'd skip it in a lot of Ivy comps. It's often so hard to fit on the Ivy board. I usually only pick it up if I don't have my armor yet, and I don't have a way to trigger my strong stone skin. So if it's like I have one health pot and a strong stone skin, I'll pick up the Valor to let the health pot trigger the strong stone skin. But usually I'm only picking it up if it's on sale after that, because it just doesn't fit anywhere. Valor, it's for Moon Shield for some kind of mana build. I mean, that's the places where it's best, yeah. But I think even just raw Valor is a solid defensive layer this week. It was a lot worse a couple weeks ago, but I feel like the meta favors it pretty well. But it goes in and out. In general, there have been fewer Valors this week, which in turn has made like Reaper Hammer Dagger a lot better. But a lot of the comps people are playing don't easily fit in a Valor, so there's just fewer of them, even if it's better positioned. Like, it can be really hard to add Shield of Valor onto your Berserker board that is trying to have Deerwood Stars and also play double Dragon Scale Armor. It can be really hard to fit Shield of Valor on your Poison Ivy board that already wants to have another body armor to instant trigger your flasks, have a stack of flasks, have Ivy Stars. Right on Stone Gloves. Solid. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I keep telling myself that I want to make Gloves of Power more. I made it a bunch on Pyro last week when we were doing the lightsaber rapier stuff. But I don't think I made Gloves of Power a single time this week. It was a cool rapier item, but rapier just felt so much worse this week. 100th Valor, it's in the shop. Too early before you have enough space. Yeah, same. It can be hard to justify spending oftentimes more than a full turn to play Shield of Valor. The 12 gold is a full turn, and then you gotta find space for it too. Is another 6 gold. Flame Whip, technically the best place for Stone Gloves. I could see that. But yeah. Not a lot of places that want it. Pick up gloves, you do it for speed. Stone gloves are the opposite. Well, you can pick up gloves with the intention of making gloves of power. Like, sometimes you pick up gloves just for damage. And gloves of power do give you damage, too, while also not griefing your stam. Yeah. Heart of Darkness comps falling off a bit as the game goes on. 4 and power really impactful when health pools are lower, but as health pools naturally get larger, it's a bit harder for the burst to matter as much. Other stuff just tends to scale a bit better. 90 HPs. Yeah, yeah. Like, it's a bunch of really good flat value. And 40% healing reduction, but... Well, the badges are no longer the worst things in the world to pick up early. Ignoring the busted badges, but... Hey. And then... Yeah. Is Stone Badge still the best item in the game? After it's been nerfed like 3 times? I'm pretty sure it is. It's lost half its econ value. And they slowed down the block gen? They go from 3 to 4 seconds. Thought the econ nerf to Stone Badge would kill it. Well, I knew it wouldn't kill it, but I thought that it wouldn't have a chart this extreme anymore. The best part about it is thinning the shop. Okay, that's not fair. That is a strong aspect of Stone Badge, but I do think that that's like second or third down the line. Like, even without the thinning the shop, it is still like a 10 gold item for 5 gold. And there are some comps where the thinning the shop isn't great. But for Ivy, it's great. For Dark Saber, it's usually great. For Pyro and Berserker, it's usually just irrelevant, right? I don't think you're usually benefiting from Stone Badge thinning the pool on those classes. And thinning the pool is not all upside. Like, you would like to still buy short bows on Ranger when you get a turn 1 Stone Badge, but you can't. It's probably still net upside, but... Also, kind of surprised that, like, Rainbow Badge stays good for as long as it does. I guess it's just people turning it into crazy multi-class comps. The extra 1 second did knock it down a little bit. Like, this was even more extreme before. Just one in every buff is so many buffs. It is so hard to kill someone with a regen and a vamp on turn 3. Oh, man. I knew reverse was good. I didn't think it was this. I know it's auto win in the Reaper Mirror. Doesn't do much in Berserker, right? It's good into Pyro. I guess usually really good into Ranger too. Just bad in Berserker. Not hard for the rest of your board to carry versus Berserker. Shield's still really good. God damn. Wait, 20,000 Moonshield games? It feels like so many. Like a card just strong early mid. All cards probably look like lovers. I thought lovers was lower than reverse though. I guess it's pretty similar. Yeah. Moonshield is on that insane number of people playing Grove Keeper. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? Or are we just wrapping up? Because this is gonna be the meta for the next week. No patch.